Good morning, this is totally random.
Featuring Franz Maruna and Andrew Embler.
Totally random. Today, someday in April, 13th. Friday the 13th. I'm Franz. This is Andy. This is your weekly chit-chat show about concrete5 for mostly developers in the community. Let's see. Let's get right into it. We got some news. Lucas's theme contest is going to end this upcoming week. So if you've got a good-looking theme that you've been working on, you want to submit it to this contest, there's cool prizes, there's street cred, there's
cred is important.
There's awesomeness. So now is your the final countdown, your last chance to get something in. So go for it, and thank you, Lucas, for running all that. 5521, the release candidate, is coming together nicely.
Yeah.
Fewer and fewer things reported there.
Yeah, you know, we've been working on some of the bugs that have been reported from 5.5.2, and they are slowing down. So
nice.
That's good. We have a few more to get through, so we're not going to get a release out this week, but should be early next week.
Well, it's Friday. We shouldn't be releasing things on a Friday. That's bad play. But
what's the worst that could happen? Releasing major software on Friday the 13th?
I don't know why we wouldn't do that. No, I mean Fridays just as a whole. Like, it's, you know, if you'd like to not work on your weekend, it's nice to not launch websites and products on Fridays. But yeah, I think next week it seems like we should be able to kind of tighten that up and get her out. There are now 2 awesome Drupal developer guide for concrete5 articles that people have written.
Nice.
One we were talking about before. There's another one from Gold Hat. That oh, you're busting those out? Yeah. So yeah, a few weeks ago we had asked, we called for help from our community of please explain how concrete5 works from the perspective of a developer that knows another system, and that would be really helpful to us and something that we can't really write since we know concrete5 better than other systems, and the kind of thing that just is a lot better in different people's voices than just ours.
Absolutely.
And so already we've had 2 very thoughtful and detailed rundowns of concrete5 for Drupal developers get posted to different blogs out there, and we are pulling that content over to our docs section as well, where I think we're going to build a whole little area inside the developers section of kind of like, I came up with a good name for it last night and I shot you, Matt, but like, you know, learning concrete5 from no, yeah, it was a good name. But what we really could use, thank you very much, in addition to this Drupal stuff, man, that WordPress thing is just like hanging over our heads. So many people use WordPress as a CMS and love it as such, but I have to believe they just haven't really tried anything else.
I have to believe that. It's
started as a blog, and hey, it was great as a blog, so why not? Well, wouldn't it be great if there was some simple rundowns for people so they could easily figure out what they should be looking at in concrete5, how to make that shift from being an awesome WordPress developer to an awesome concrete5 developer. Someone really should write that. We would love to have it. I'd give you all sorts of stuff, and pats on the back, badges, and
thumbs up.
things, thumbs up,
shout out,
licenses, t-shirts, you name it, you get it. I need that. I'd love to launch that whole section of like learning concrete5 for other developers, but if it's just 2 Drupal articles, that's kind of weird. Having at least 1 WordPress article.
I think a WordPress one would be, you could launch with those 3.
Yeah, that'd be great. In other news, this is an exciting tidbit for Andy at least. Not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, we're going to do the last Andrew-led developer intro to concrete5 training session. So we've got these training sessions, we've been doing them for a long time. Mostly Andrew and occasionally Ryan has been basically leading them. It's kind of it's like a go-to meeting deal. It's about 2 hours of talking and then about an hour of QA, sometimes more, sometimes less on either side.
Any subject you want to ask questions about.
Anything.
You
Really?
want to know how to change your oil? I actually don't know how to.
We'll go like a call-in resource. Anyway, Andy's been doing these a lot in the past. Matt is taking over and basically trying to take the content that gets kind of done ad hoc video style by Andy, write that down so we have even better documentation, and then Matt will be taking over doing training on these things as well. So, not this Wednesday, but the next is the last one that we're going to have Andy do, and then Matt will take the baton and run with it. So, if you've always wanted to take the developer intro course, now is your big chance. So the last time you can take it directly from the CTO of concrete5.
There's a little price break on it too.
That's a pretty significant price break. You're going to save $200.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, so instead of $295, it's just $95 American. So that's, you know, that's a good deal. And you should do it. It's going to be a fun time. We've already had a few people sign up. I expect it to be a learning party atmosphere.
I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
That sounds like a good time. So there's that. Last bit of generalized news. Last week, someone asked if there was a roadmap for concrete5, and we kind of sheepishly brushed them off, as in, well, you know, every time we put a list up, much of it gets done, but not all of it, and then we get in trouble. But, you know, fair enough. That's not a great answer. Matt, you want to go to the version history to find this thing. So we took the time to write up what we're actually working on now. Yeah, keep going in, do like the version history for 5.5.2. Up a little bit. There you go. And then on the left, roadmap. So we added this page that Matt's bringing up. Look at it. There you go.
Nice.
So here are things that we are working on. Some of these things are already done in different branches in Git. If you just want to quickly scroll, you can see there's a bunch of permission stuff, there's some UI stuff, there's some improvements to blocks that we're making, and then there's some jibber jabber for me on what does this list actually mean, and is this a promise or a heads up?
A binding contract.
It is not a binding contract. In fact, people who get binding contracts out of me give me money. No, I mean, that is the honest truth. The way concrete5 has grown over the years is generally a client loves what concrete5 does, but needs it to do a little bit more, and they're eager to finance the development of that little bit more. And a little bit more is something that we already know that we think concrete5 should do. We do our own projects. We also spend a lot of time watching the forums, posting the forums, but being aware of what people are working on. And there are things that we realize over time, oh yeah, it really would be better if, I don't know, case in point, scrapbooks were built in one consistent way and had permissions and versions and that kind of thing.
Saw that there was a real need to, it's like, well, that was a good, we know we need to solve that problem now, we should probably solve it.
It was a good start, but it's not quite right. And you know, you can see that in the forums, you see different people with questions about it that leads you to think, oh yeah, we should probably rethink that. We go visit big clients who are trying to use it and making assumptions about it that it works in ways that it doesn't. We think, oh god, yeah, probably should have versions in there. Oh yeah, you probably should be able to control it with permissions. We get out the whiteboard, we architect a better solution, we stick it in there, everyone helps test it, and up it goes. That's how it's always worked. That's how the big improvements to concrete5 have happened. And if you look back over the version history for the entire life of the project, anything you want to point at in there, I can tell you who paid for it. So that is not to anything more than what it is. Certainly all sorts of features get done for any number of different reasons, but if you're wondering what we're worried about, the roadmap page is up. Yeah. That's the stuff that we're worried about. And feel free to look at it. If you suggest things that should be on there, we're happy to know what it is that needs to be improved.
Not all of the things on there are scheduled out in terms of, like, there are certain things on there that are indeed already done, and then there are certain things on there that have not been started.
That's true.
Certain things that are but a glimmer in the brain.
There are certainly maybe things on there that end up getting put aside because a version needs to happen, and there may be other things that end up getting added because they need to happen. But that's what I know, and certainly you guys deserve to know what we're thinking about. Sure. So there's a roadmap page, and we'll do our best to keep that updated, and hopefully that helps. There you go. That's the news that I've got. I think it's time to do some karma.
And the weekly karma winners, come on down.
All right, all right. Do we have any karma pictures this week, Matt? Or we
Yeah,
picture list? Ooh.
we do have current picks this
All
week.
right.
We got a few from our friend Bert Olton.
All right. Or-
So we got a mirror here.
Nice.
Ooh, a
And
curse.
Oh wow, yeah. Infinite feedback loop. How many burps can you have?
And then we got the sort of a, this is kind of a weird one. We got a whole bunch of Popeye mugs.
What? Okay. That's something. All right. And it's like a audience, it's like a coliseum or like a gang of Popeye mugs about to take out the C5 stand. Man, there's a stop action YouTube video waiting to happen.
And we got an update on his anvil with the concrete5 logo.
Oh, that's what I was expecting.
Nice.
Solid weathering there.
Yeah.
That's sweet. We get Bert to make us something out of steel.
Like some chainmail.
I'd like a concrete5 marquee. Dang, sharp hand. Nice, nice.
And then we got a longboard from Local Plugs.
Nice.
It's fun.
I wish I could skateboard. That looks like it's so much fun. Those young fellas.
Not for me.
Going up and down and around. Sometimes I go over to, our offices are right above the Burnside Skate Park, and sometimes I go over there and peer through the razor wire at the
Take you back to
Skater
15.
Boys. Yeah, they look like they're having fun down there. Cool. Did the Karma machine run?
Let's see. It did.
Yes, it did. It looks like
Mania won a copy of the dealer locator.
for helping people. So helpful.
Bert Olton won a copy of the dealer locator as well for promotion. Probably
Nice.
the sticker.
For the stickers.
Yeah.
And then Growth Curve won a copy of the Dojo Page Filter Pro add-on for doing work.
Nice.
Well, we got a third party out on submitted to the
Yeah, some people.
Nice dojo.
Yeah, I think we mentioned in one totally random that you know,
Yeah.
hey, if you want us to give away
Put
your
anything
licenses,
in there.
happy to do it. That's a great way for developers who are selling an add-on that maybe they'd like to see some other developers get access to, just so they can know what it does. It's a smart way to do that. Cool. Well, thank you guys. All three of those things are super important to do, and we really appreciate the help that we get doing them. So, thanks. I hope those licenses help you, and we appreciate it. Fun with forums time.
Introducing Fun in the Forums!
That sounds good. I love that. Every time that cracks me up. Alright, well the first one was, there's this thread of what Jordan is working on about a page list block, kind of a sexier page list redo. I don't have a lot to add to it, I just thought it'd be kind of cool to look at it.
Yeah.
If you
We
got
haven't looked
it.
at any of them. Looked at it too much.
I want to pull it up there. It's,
See that there's a fair amount of activity on it.
yeah, it's nice
pretty
back and forth with some good leaders. Makes me feel like something smart's going to happen in there. Matt's learning about cut and paste.
My IM client is not not cooperating, but here we go.
Alright, it's a chatty one, but it looks like what's going on here. If you don't know Jordan Live, you certainly should. He's got an awesome, just many awesome things, but one of them is the designer content block in the marketplace, which we use all the time ourselves. It's just a nice way to kind of piece together a block that has an image and some text and a title, and kind of lock down your client a little bit so they're not using tiny MCE to do complex stuff. It sounds like he's kind of shooting for similar build. It's almost like a block builder, in this case a navigation thing. There's a built-in pageless class and block in concrete5 that is very powerful, but you know, like many powerful things, can be a little intimidating and you know, perhaps not as I don't know, whatever, off the cuff flexible as you would expect.
Yeah.
And it looks like Jordan is kind of rethinking, hey, you know, here's a way you could build more customized navigations and reuse them across your site. And it's pretty cool to see this just at a high level, because as you scroll down, you can see he's thinking in terms of requirements, and this is what it would do and how it would work, and does that look interesting at all? And you see right away people reply, I totally do want this, and it should also do this other, and then there's some back and forth about, well, maybe it could do the other, but maybe that would not be the best way, but how about this, and how about that, and we're back, and then there's more forth, and then there's some forth, and then there's some back, and on it goes, and it looks like Jordan's making something happen there, and that's awesome.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's an interesting. I mean, the blocks architecture is they're so easy to build and self-contained that it's nice when they're smaller rather than more. Rather than having more options, you know. So, I mean, an example of this is the product list block in e-commerce, and there's a reason we wanted to make it so that it was, you know, flexible enough to be used and contain all of the different styling that people might want to not have to touch code to modify. But, you know, there's something to be said for presenting fewer options to the end user, you know, and tailoring something out before you have to reuse it throughout your site. Like, it's awfully nice. I like the blocks that are simpler and easier to understand at a glance.
Yeah, something that solves a specific purpose very well is always has the right appeal these days.
And if you can build a program, you can build it, you know, without having to touch code. That's even better.
So I don't know, that was just one thing that was happening in the forums that I thought would be interesting to people. It's nice to see productive back and forth in there, and certainly if hey, I build a lot of navigations with the page list and I'd love to see something more flexible, powerful, and attractive is interesting to you, you should get involved in that thread because it looks like that's happening, and you know, Jordan's designer content block is great, so I'm sure the page list will be as well. The more feedback and requirements he gets from the real world, the better it's going to be. The other one is a less pleasant one for you, Andy. It's like an upgrade. Yeah. Someone tried to upgrade from 5.4.2.2 to 5.5.2, and then they said it was successful. Next time I logged in, every site page dashboard has a fatal error, which he doesn't put in there. Then he just tries to kind of hack it back to 5.4.2.2, and of course that doesn't work very well.
No.
And then what John the Fish says, you didn't update the database, perhaps?
No.
And reverted the core back to 5.4.2.2, but not reverted the database. So
which you're not going to be able to do. You're going to have to pull a backup. Yeah, that's
Unfortunately, he used the backup tool that is built into our system, which is fine. However, he encrypted it, so it can be decrypted, but you have to run it through concrete5 to restore it.
So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, you know.
I like how you cut back to us and rolls like, oh.
You know, you could
reinstall concrete5 4.2.2 and keep all your customizations and files, make sure that they're still around, reinstall 5.4.2.2, then that will be working again, then put the backup in the backups folder and then restore.
Or you'll be able to unencrypt it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So fresh install 5.4.2.2.
Then restore the backup.
Then restore from that.
Because then you should be able to get to the
Maybe you can do that in a separate spot anyway.
Yeah, totally. You can do it in a separate spot.
Or figure out what the fatal error was on 5.5 and
Yeah.
just try to solve your way through that. That seems odd.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes me think that, well, I mean, there is talk that the database was modified because you can't go backwards. So my first thought is that the files were put in place, but the database never.
Maybe it's died part of the way through or something.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Another thing I would do is I would go 5.4.2.2 and try to upgrade to 5.5 without.
There's a screenshot here, but it's just an old 5.4.2.2.
That looks like what I imagine 5.4. If you brought the 5.4.2.2 files in with the 5.5 database.
Yeah. So maybe knowing what that fatal error was would be worth exploring.
Yeah, I would do what you were suggesting, what I was suggesting, sort of combine it. Install 5.4.2.2 in a separate spot. Take the database backup from the backups directory. Put it in that new spot in the backups directory and apply it to the 5.4.2.2 site. That should get a working site back to the way it was. And then upgrade to 5.5, then to 5.5.1, and then 5.5.2, and see if that fixes the problem. Otherwise, if going, you know, if you want to go from 5.4.2.2 to 5.5.2 again, and you still have the same error, let us know. There may be a bug in the update.
Yeah, do some details on the error.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for Fun with Forums. Let's go get what we got and get.
What did we get and get?
Alright, what do we get and get? What are we looking at?
Alright, what we're looking at here is a pull request from Jordan Lev. This came in about 8 weeks ago, or 8 days ago. We got a couple in there that are 8 weeks ago. They probably aren't going to be improved. Just as a heads up. This is a refactored AutoNav templates. This one is kind of bittersweet because on the whole it looks great. The view itself is nicely commented.
Well, take a step back. What is he doing? He's rethinking the way the AutoNav, the code behind the AutoNav looks.
Yeah. So to take a step back, the view layer for the AutoNav template is not as there's a fair amount of PHP code intermingled with that view layer. So so what he's done is moved a lot of that logic into the controller where it probably should have been in the first place, and made the view really just more like a PHP, just like a template. So, you know, as minimal amount of PHP is necessary to print out the stuff you need to print.
Well, when you tell it to me like that, it sounds like something that is right to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should have done it in the first place, and now would be an awesome contribution to have back from the community. Let's build it the right way.
Yes, that is true.
That sounds great.
Now I'm going to throw a little wrinkle in there, and I'm going to also put it out to the community, because maybe there's a way to meet in the middle on something like this, because I'm all for this. And we haven't tested this yet, because we're trying to get the.
I don't understand what the problem could possibly be, Andy. This is the right way to do it. Well, let me done the wrong way. It's black and white, dude.
Let me tell you a little story.
Okay.
A few releases ago, somebody said to us, why do you have the exclude from nav flag in the view template? Because what you're doing is pulling in a whole bunch of page objects into the AutoNav, and then you're looping through, and if you've got 40 that you're excluding, you're processing 40 page objects that you don't need to process. You shouldn't pass them in there if they're
that sounds really inefficient. I'm not going to use that data. Why would I load that data?
It is inefficient, and probably was built that way due to the sort of iterative nature of the AutoNav's development.
Sure.
So what we did at the time was, well, yeah, let's move the exclude from nav into the page list query so that we only retrieve pages that we know we're going to show in the view template.
That makes sense.
And that's what this does as well. The controller is responsible for excluding the pages from the view template, which totally makes sense. Unfortunately, we went to great pains to make sure that the markup was all the same in the view, which it sounds like Jordan has done as well. But believe it or not, any changes to that view that change what could be available in it are going to be a problem. So we applied this. We thought we were proud of ourselves.
Cleaning it up. Didn't get it right the first time, but lesson learned.
And people we got frantic bug reports saying, my nav is gone, my site's broken, I don't have a sitemap anymore.
You deleted my pages.
You deleted my pages. I have a sitemap on a page. There's no pages on it anymore. And we're like, what the heck are you talking about? And we start freaking out. And it turns out what happened was this person is using exclude from nav to control the navs around the site, the header nav, the side navs, etc. But then they created a custom sitemap template for a page on their site where they wanted to show everything. And so that particular view did not have the exclude from nav logic in it at all. They just deleted, they made it look like a list, they deleted the if exclude from nav is 1, they deleted that stuff. So what happened was they were relying on those pages that were excluded from nav to be available in that template. And for them, it was, they thought they lost pages.
So the fix was actually breaking.
Yes.
In their world, our fix to code that could have been written better broke the site that was actually live.
Yeah, in our world, doing something that was more elegant, since it changed the way that they were expecting it to work. So
it's like there's this dramatic difference between the abstract perfection
Yeah.
and the real world application.
And it's kind of is a little disheartening. But if you take a step back, it's like, well, we built that flexibility. That thing is not a hard and fast permission. It's a flag to be used as you see fit.
Sure.
So, and that was the other reason why we kind of did it that way in the first place in the view template, because, you know, it is a flag. It's not a permission. It's not a permission record on a page where you absolutely will not be able to see this. It's something for you to use. It's a little more loose.
Sure.
And so, moving, as an example, with this code that I see, moving the exclude from nav into the controller is totally not going to work.
Yep.
However, the good news is I don't feel like having a couple if statements that include the attributes in the view is going to make it that much uglier. Like, I think the ugliness came from a lot of the other, like, these templates are nicely commented. The markup is a lot cleaner. There's a lot less for each loops and crazy stuff. Like, you can get 99% of the benefit of this while still maintaining the if statements that check those attributes. So that's what I would say to that.
Okay.
And it's interesting. It's interesting. You know, you can't even call it a bug really, because we never positioned that exclude nav as like.
Well, that was added a year after the one I was built in the first place.
So,
it's all about perspective, isn't it? And yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's some things that can happen to that pull request that would make it more easily approvable.
Yeah.
And,
oh yeah, I mean it's good. It's just and we haven't posted to it yet either.
No.
This is the first time I've taken an in-depth look at it
But,
because
you know, sure, Jordan is watching, or we will post this in detail. But I just thought it was one of those interesting things of kind of like, yeah, this in the from one perspective seems like this is safe saying, why do we not just magically approve it? But you know, from other perspectives, yeah, it's going to break hundreds or more sites, so we have to be very thoughtful about this type of thing.
Well, and it's also like, on one hand, it's a good pull request. Like, anything that cleans up our code that makes it more documented, easier to understand is a good thing.
That's a good thing.
But you know, so many times we have to look at all possible angles
It's
for
very
everything.
delicate walk through the woods.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what we got in Git. Let's do the PRB.
And now it's time for the peer review ball.
Featuring new themes and add-ons.
All right. I know we approved a handful of things this week, Matt. I saw you churning away in there. We've got some themes this week and a couple add-ons. So we got clean and simple. Looks clean, simple.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like the. Oh, this is interesting. I like the diagonal lines that were in the screenshots. I can't really see them. Maybe they're there.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like that theme. That's cool. Looks like it has a full complement of page lists as well. Or page types as well. It's pretty excellent. Clean and simple.
Clean and simple. Wow, I never laugh.
It is. Print my page.
Nice.
Simple add-on. Block for printing your page.
Nice.
This guy or gal needs to get a screenshot or demo going here.
That would help.
Since they have one 5-star review though, so someone took a leap of faith and bought it.
Well,
it's free.
It's free. So
Oh, okay, well.
more of a step of faith, but still. Yeah, nice.
Basically, I approved this. I looked through it. What it does basically is just give you a link that prints your page in the site, and also some controls in the dashboard to turn off specific classes, as you might do if you're building a print-specific style sheet in a website.
Nice. That's what you want. Cool. Looking good. People like that. Get asked that all the time.
All right. Next one is the Reposta framework.
Responsive.
Designers and developers to build on. We get a lot of these.
Justified text.
Yeah,
all
so
right.
A lot of different libraries it pulls in, and it gives you a very. This is not what you get. What you get is a very blank.
Yeah, I can imagine.
White
It's more of a
template.
starting point, like grid-based.
Sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
But this is something you can do with it, I guess, on the demo site here. So
Cool.
That's cool.
Is it kind of like Twitter Bootstrap? I can only keep so many frameworks in my head at one time.
You're learning
I'm learning as we go.
Learning and talking.
I'm not sure it has as much style-based stuff, but I have to take a little deeper into it, I guess.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Cool. Well, anyone who wants to use that, there is now a theme for Concrete5 for it.
Nice.
All right. Next one we got is pretty cool. This one is the Aviary Image Editor.
Oh, nice. So this is Picnic is going away on the 19th. Avery is the an alternative to Picnic. So we've got 5.2 out there, which has some built-in cropping and rotation stuff. But if you don't want to upgrade, or you want to keep some of the flexibility of Picnic and whatnot,
Yeah, some of the tint shifting and all that kind of stuff. Plus, you know, we haven't done extensive mobile testing on our new stuff. It should work, I mean, better than Picnic, because Picnic was Flash-based. But Aviary, I believe, is mobile-friendly as well.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool, and it will work on new Concrete5 installs as well as, you know, going back to 5.4.
Great.
So,
Great. So you can add this and keep on editing your images through your CMS.
yeah.
Well done.
Also an offer right now. If you go to that page in the marketplace, you'll find a link to it. But there's a deal right now to get 50 licenses for just $250.
For the
Wow.
the vendors out there with a bunch of clients that they want to throw this at, it's a good deal.
That's actually, you know, if you have a bunch of clients using it and they're all using Picnic and you don't want to upgrade them because who wants to upgrade a client site ever?
Yeah, for free. That's an honor.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Sweet. What else we got?
All right, this next one is Open Graph Tags Lite. And this inserts Open Graph Tags, which are sort of a marketing statistics sort of thing for Facebook.
Yeah, they're meta tags. They're like meta tags of a certain name that carry data that Facebook can look at when you link to your pages, right?
You know, just thinking to myself, I wish that I could figure out a way to get more metadata to Facebook.
There's not enough data flowing from me out to Facebook.
They desperately need something to store on all those servers. I mean, let empty room. Now, this is great. I mean, if you've got something you're trying to promote on Facebook and you need to have your social stream leveraged in the right way, I'm
people
sure
are sharing your stuff. You want to make sure that it gets to Facebook in a way that looks nice.
It looks good.
So you can set an icon, you can set Facebook admins, and you can also set the app ID, and then the rest of the stuff just gets pulled from page attributes, like your title and I don't know, type of identity, like article or whatever. So
Nice. And it just adds that to the header on every page.
It does.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool.
Looking good.
Demo of that too,
Free
but I don't know.
with screenshots and little demo.
I don't know how much we're going to be able to demo this.
Yeah, I think we got the idea.
Take a look at the source. And
Hooray!
check out those tags in there.
What else you got?
All right, we got an add-on called Upcoming Events.
Ooh, integrates with Google Calendar.
Oh, excellent. So, yeah, point at your Google Calendar and let's see what it looks like.
So
There's the edit interface. Is there a view interface?
there sure is. Yeah, it gets pulled in
Nice.
Nice.
pretty seamlessly.
That's great.
And the only tricky part about this is you have to kind of dig around in your Google Calendar settings to get the specific.
Oh yeah, they're crazy share URL.
Oh,
yeah.
It's
Find
really
that
hard to
thing.
find.
So
But, you know, Google Calendar is awfully nice, awfully free, great for collaboration, and
Plus, I mean, you know, I had messed around for so long trying to find a proper syncing utility between the laptop and the phone and the iPad and all this stuff, and then Google Calendar. It's tough to.
it's free
To be able to add it using iCal on the phone and then have it show up on a website without having to edit the website.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty solid.
Pretty cool.
next one's called Orbit Imageslider.
Sweet.
And this is, as you might expect, an image slider based on the Zerb library, actually.
I did expect.
That's
that.
exactly what I expected.
Now, what is Zerb these days? I mean, come on.
Is there a demo or a screenshot of what if my image is sliding?
Yes,
Yeah, here we go.
I think so. Yeah, let's see. I haven't looked at this demo yet, but something.
on, baby.
Let's see.
Show me some slide. There we go.
Maybe.
No? Yeah? What?
Oh, there we go. Maybe with the click on.
Here we
There we
go.
go.
Great, look, it's sliding.
Nice.
So it's got some options to turn navigation controls off and on and slide in different directions.
Arrows.
It's cool that it works independently on the same page.
That is cool.
Like that's actually a lot
the harder I would imagine that
Yeah,
it
maybe
would
JavaScript behave well.
Yeah, independently.
It was nice to see
Yeah.
Tony's beautiful photos there.
Yeah.
Tony's such a good photographer. Cool. Like a nice slider.
Awesome. And we got a theme to show off to you. And this one comes to us courtesy of Growth Curve. Let's take a look at the demo.
In the zone. Yeah, in the zone.
In the zone. All right.
Like a 90s dance quote.
So he's got a bunch of different page types and some button styles, and looks good.
Nice.
Built-in login block. I know this also has a dashboard interface that lets you change a few options and submit a support ticket to him to check out.
Very
So
Looks like it's got a couple blocks too, at least.
He's supporting the
The Brian
the
Lewis
emerging
now.
standard Brian Lewis drop down now.
Yeah.
Sweet. Belu making an impact. A splash. Felt beyond his themes. Cool.
all right. Next one we got is called Toolbar Quick Links. And this one is from John Fish. So this does something sort of similar to an option in 5.4 to let you have links in your toolbar to the file manager and sitemap.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had this in earlier versions, and we pulled it out because you can basically do this with the quick nav. You can bookmark a link to any page in the dashboard. But so now we've got it so you can turn the quick nav off. That kind of came out in one of these sub versions of 5.5. So if you want to be able to jump to these guys, here's a way you can bring that back. That's nice.
Looks like there's some extra options to that too, so that's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, you can set it up per user and turn them off and on independently and stuff like that. So
Okay.
seems all right. And then the last one we have is called Front End File Manager. This is also from John the Fish. And so this allows you to give certain users the ability to open the concrete5 file manager at a single click without having to place the page in edit mode.
So you can add files to the system. So if you've got like, an intranet or something, you want to let people add files, you could set up permissions while using advanced permissions. So, you could be in a group like submitters that would have access to a file set and could upload files, and then this would let you give them access to do that without having to
Know where to
get
go.
into the dashboard. Yeah. Oh, that sounds powerful and helpful.
Looks like there's a couple templates. Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different templates included and a lot of options, and it seems like it works pretty well. So the idea is you can manage your image galleries and file sets and sliders and stuff like that easier than you could before.
Nice.
So very cool.
Very cool. Cool. Thank you very much. All that stuff looks great, and I'm sure it will benefit everybody in all sorts of ways that none of us expect. That's the PRB.
Cool.
Sweet. I think we're into how would we do that?
How would we do that?
I don't know. I don't know how to do anything. I got nothing to talk about. You got any questions?
Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm sure I could go back through here and find every single question, but I might have time to do that in a second. Got one right away from Bogan Days. They ask 2 questions. 1, how to create forms with hidden fields based on page attributes.
Probably use the custom form block on that.
Yeah, you can't really do that using the form block today. Interesting idea.
Yeah, but you should explore the
custom
ability
form,
to.
or the external form block is a good place to start. It's basically, it lets you build your own includes and post to a controller, and it'd be a good thing to do anytime you need to do anything custom, either whether it's a UI or control how you send the form down to the smallest level. It's a good way to do it.
There you go.
Second part of that question: is it possible to have Is it possible to have multiple registration forms with unique fields on different pages?
Well, you could set up all those custom attributes that you want for registration. Your registration form is going to automatically get built. There's a bunch of options in there for require this on log or registration, or require this later for member things. You can get all those kind of set up the way you would like a default register to work, and then you could probably build a single page interface to just
Yeah.
register the fields that you'd like for the different cases. If you're registering customers versus client versus vendors or something.
Yeah, we've done that. You know, we'll set up a single page that, you know, instead of saying pull all the fields that are set to show up on registration, we just code in the fields, and it's usually pretty easy to, with just a couple lines, you can output a form field for one of the attributes that you have in your user.
And that gives you a lot more design control over your
Yeah,
registration
that's why we
process
do it
too.
that
So
way.
like maybe you want like registration and overlay or that kind of thing. So get the basic registration and kind of including everything, and then you can build single page interfaces to pick and choose.
Yeah.
All right, got one from J Steel 123. Is there a way to limit front-end form uploads to just GIFs, JPEGs, and pings?
No.
No, not today.
Yeah, you can limit files that are added to the file manager from some of the settings in there. There's a big list of extensions if there's anything that you can add. So, I mean, I think that defaults, but you know, please don't add exe or PHP files.
Now, you know, I'm actually, this might potentially be possible, but I totally don't. We'd have to test this. But if you enable advanced permissions, you could theoretically allow guests to add files that were only of a certain type.
Oh, is this the new stuff that you're working on?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't even be in the old one, but usually they're, I don't know if the form block actually looks against those permissions or not, because usually it probably wouldn't, because usually we don't allow guests to add any files by default, but it'd be interesting if you did define the specific types of files guests could add, if it looked against those. But I don't think that does today, but you know, using advanced permissions, we could provide the interface and tweak the form block at some point in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
Cool.
no, I don't believe it does today.
Ali Phillips asks, does anything in 5521 relate to the package enable full content swap? He is still having issues with that killer feature.
Not that I know of. I know that we had a forum thread going back and forth, and there was a bug that was just like a result of, you know, getting up to 5.5 launch. And then that got fixed, and you reported that there was another issue afterwards. We can take another look at it. I don't believe so. I didn't actually encounter that problem, but we can take another look at it in that same forum thread. Not to my knowledge. I think what we did fix went out in 5.5.2.
Mm-hmm.
Ali says perhaps it's related to global areas. If that rings a bell.
You know, some of that stuff is going to be, it might be a little loose at this point, because we haven't tested all of the different stuff you could include in a content XML file with that theme replace sample content stuff. We tested some pretty basic stuff, so it might be something that we need more specific
Needs
direction.
beaten on.
All right, well, I've put a question out to the chat asking for more questions. But
Anything else? Anybody else?
oh, here you go. One from MKLY. He asks, what do you guys do for validating attributes dashboard?
Oh.
Validating attributes in the dashboard?
Validating attributes.
Through the dashboard.
Like, what's a use case?
Example.
Like client's text entry and limiting that to less than 10 characters or something.
Well, really, if they're editing attributes today, we're pretty.
We don't have validation
We don't have
on
validation.
attributes.
Yeah.
You could build a new attribute.
Yeah,
but
someone did
we
actually,
that.
I believe. I think Jay Shannon built a extended text attribute or something like
Right.
that.
So if you wanted to have an attribute that was always phone number, you could build that attribute.
Yeah.
And there's the tools in there to have a validation layer.
Yeah.
But for the generalized attributes like
Should
select
be.
box or text box
Yeah.
or whatever, then you get what you get.
How would we show a message if you're attribute does not validate.
I don't think you can today. You can like from the you can show one. There is a validate function that runs on the front end, but I don't, which would kick back an error handler, but I don't think it doesn't run and pop up in an alert box if you're editing a user record in the dashboard.
Good though. I can see that being a nice improvement to have. Pull request that would probably be pretty easy to approve, as I don't see how it would dramatically impact the front end.
Yeah, there was a pull request that I didn't totally understand, because we actually have the ability to do validation on attributes as they get submitted. We just don't pop up the alert message, so it's more a UI concern, I believe.
So is there a message that goes somewhere, or is it just?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we just don't show it in that little, where we show attributes in the dashboard.
Okay.
But if you're doing it on the front end, for example, if you're registering, like...
Yeah, I see that work.
Yeah.
So it's probably just a dashboard UI.
Yeah.
Grab the validation message and stick it in the little Twitter.
Yeah.
Or Bootstrap, rather, red box type deal.
Yeah, something. Well, the way those things work, they're all individual, so it'd probably be a JavaScript alert box, or maybe the red thing above the entry.
All right, we have a question from Lahik. He asks, is it possible to include external forms in a package? And he recalls reading in the forum somewhere that it wasn't working in 5.5.0. Does it work now?
I don't believe so. No, it doesn't, because there's currently no way, this is sort of a systemic thing, there's no way to go from the core into, replace a file or add to a location that's in the core with something in the packages directory. You can override it in your own local site install, but you can't, like...
This packages can't impact the core directory.
Yeah. The only exception to that is custom templates, but that's just because we've implemented that in a crazy inefficient way that will loop through your packages looking for them at the time of specifying it. So that's why the packages or the custom templates work that way, but nothing else does. And at some point in the future, we will be tweaking that for performance reasons, because we recognize it's not great to have all those file exists looks, but not today, unfortunately.
Anything else?
I think we've hit the end of our questions, at least that I've seen. I looked back through the chat log. Let's see here. Okay, here's one from John the Fish.
Okay.
He asks, from a block controller or view, how do I get the block ID of all old versions of a block?
There's no easy way to do that. There's a block relations table that will let you chain up to get the ancestors of a block, and that's probably what you're going to have to query. I don't remember if there's a method in the block object that will do that for you. But I know that we do it. We do query that table throughout Concrete5 to when certain things change.
Start joining.
Yeah. Do a project-wide search for block relations as a string. That is a table that you want to check out.
Got a question from Ollie. He asks, I know we don't have much time to address the European cookies directive issue, but would there be any mileage for a how-to on Concrete5 that shows devs how they can make their add-ons compliant with sites using the Formigo cookies disclosure add-on?
Don't you just install the add-on and enjoy? Or am I missing something?
I don't know. I think if you say you're not going to accept cookies, nothing's going to work.
Well, I think you just have to show a message saying that we're accepting cookies.
Yeah.
Or like, we need cookies for this to work. But I think there's an add-on that he mentions that...
Yeah, I don't think you have
customize
to...
the message, and I don't understand what...
No, yeah, in what way have you found add-ons that aren't compatible with that in some way?
Or what would the how-to do? What would the how-to cover?
Yeah, I thought it was just a sort of explanatory message saying, by continuing to use this site, you recognize.
That was my understanding of it as well, but I don't know.
Yeah, John the Fish says, I think there's room for a how-to covering EU requirements and using the add-on to solve. Sure.
Sure.
Ollie says that developers can set scripts that are out of control of that add-on, which is, yeah, it sounds like it could be certainly the case.
The add-on doesn't do anything, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much just provides you with a pop-up saying, I agree that I know that I'm using cookies.
Yeah. Maybe saying that should only run if you're using an add-on that requires everything requires.
No, it all requires
it's all
cookies.
your whole bad boy uses cookies. But feel free to write a how-to, and we'll read it.
Explain why this directive came down from people who apparently have little knowledge of how the internet works.
Yes.
All right, another question from MKLY. He asks, is ADODB like the latest now?
No.
Love
High
this.
five. No, you know, we tried to upgrade. We have hotfixed it at points due to incompatibility, which is a bummer that we have to. But you know, we tried to upgrade it at one point, and it broke a lot of stuff. So we're pretty gun shy when it comes to upgrading that. I would love to have it be the latest because we try and keep other things like the Zen framework and TinyMCE up to date, and that has given us real benefits. But you know, if someone could show me that
That is some deep bones.
this deep in there, and like the problem was not just it rethought how their active records stuff worked to a point where blocks that existed did not behave, and I kicked around trying to catch those in concrete5 and translate back to the old way, and then I said, no, not today.
Yeah, I strongly feel like if someone's going to start to go down that path, then perhaps getting a database agnostic layer would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But the business goal for doing that is not to be on the latest version of ADODB, because who cares if it works. The business goal is it'd be awesome to use Postgres and Oracle, because you know, not everyone loves MySQL, or particularly SQL Server. I hear all the time. Concrete5 runs on IIS now, but it doesn't run on SQL Server.
Yeah.
That's a downer. So if we're going to readdress the entire database layer, that would be why I would want to do it. And if upgrading ADODB is part of that, that's great, but it does not sound like an insignificant thing to do. But maybe someone will come along and really desperately want Concrete5 to work on SQL Server, and then maybe that would all cascade into happening. Anything else?
Yeah, I got a couple more here. Legoman UK asks, any new core team add-ons planned, or perhaps a new version of e-commerce?
Not in the immediate future.
We do point releases of e-commerce pretty frequently.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some stuff that we've changed in our private repository that hasn't been released yet. So I know John the Fish is waiting for something that's released there. It's fixed in the next version. I'm sure that's right around the corner.
Yeah. No big dramatic new
no,
stuff
3.0
that we're planning on releasing in the marketplace in the coming months.
And Lego Man also asks, are you still running lunchtime learning? Those videos are great.
Fall off on the lunchtime.
Yeah, we haven't done that for a little bit. We started doing lunchtime learning with Robert the designer. He's teaching us all about interesting folks from design history, but I don't know if that's particularly compelling for anyone that doesn't work in my shop. Yeah, we should start to do that more. You know, I think as Matt continues to take over training from Andy and Ryan, you're going to start to see a lot of the content that before was just kind of stuck in heads and you'd only get through these screencasts get posted into multi-page articles, and that might help as well. So that'll be good.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, another one from MKLY. Would you guys allow LGPL as opposed to GPL?
I think we actually have some LGPL code in the core. We would.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, LGPL basically is MIT at that point. So
if we tweak it, we have to release the source, but we already do release the source because we put it in.
So yes, by all means, LGPL is fine.
All right, question from John the Fish. When will the PRB interface you showed a few weeks ago go live?
Don't know. We got that built out. It's set up on a stage, and we've got a couple of different people here testing it.
Got a little sidetracked by 5521.
Mikros is beating on it a little bit. There's also like a shared Google sheet we have here, kind of improvements we'd like to make to the community. I know Makers desperately wants an IRC badge. There's a bunch of little stuff like that.
Yeah, that's some tweak store bug tracker. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we wanted to kind of set aside some time to get all sorts of little things kind of tightened up and do one push to the community. So I would hope to see that happen in the coming weeks.
Yeah. Two
yeah,
weeks.
a week or two, something like that. It exists. We're eager to have it up there, but you know, updating concrete5.org is no easy task, and it's nice to do frequently, but not constantly. So we're going to try to buy ourselves a little more time to throw some extra love in the corners first.
All right, and here NT is looking for some links to the lunchtime learning videos we were just talking about. I don't know if we have them collected anywhere, but there's a few of them, right? I mean, they're
You
on.
were posting them to how-tos at one point, right?
Yeah,
They were. They are in the how-tos.
and they are ultimately on YouTube too. So maybe with a little poking around in our user profile, you can find them. But maybe that would warrant maybe a blog post or something like that when you get the time.
Yeah, I would search through the how-tos in the YouTube thing. I'm not sure who was posting. Are you posting those, Matt, or someone else posting them?
I was sending them to Matt, and he was posting them to YouTube. And he gave me the screencast URL. I think I updated the how-tos, but they are on YouTube. Yeah.
Search for lunch. Don't search for lunch. Wander through the how-tos and go look at our Concrete 5 CMS YouTube account, and you should find plenty to enjoy.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's all our questions for today.
Okay, if that's it, got stuff to do, as I'm sure do you. So thank you again, as always, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.
Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time.